Hi, kids. This is Miss Miranda here. I am reading you Abraham's Family. In the ancient world, having kids was very important. Lots of kids. Why? Because living in the ancient world took a lot of work. You needed people to plant and harvest grain, people to take care of sheep, people to take care of goats, people to take care of camels. If you were attacked by another group of people, you needed people to help fight back. The more kids and grandkids you had, the more help you had in planting and harvesting and shepherding and protecting. The more kids and grandkids you had, the better your life would be. Which is why it was so terrible that Abram and Sarai didn't have any kids, and why God's promise that Abram's family would become a nation was so exciting. By now, Abram and Sarai had been following God for 24 years. They had wandered all over the land God said would be theirs. They had wandered down to Egypt and back again, and God had blessed Abram. He now had lots of servants and sheep and goats and camels. The only thing Abram and Sarai didn't have was kids. Abram was about to give up on the idea of building a family when God told him two things. First, God said, "Your name isn't Abram anymore, it's Abraham." And Sarai's name is now Sarah. And Abraham said, "Okay." Then God said, "And next year, Sarah will have a baby." And do you know what Sarah did? She laughed. Why did she laugh? Because the next year, Sarah would turn 90 years old. Abraham and Sarah had never heard of a 90-year-old woman having a baby. Have you ever heard of a 90-year-old woman having a baby? Sarah tried not to, but she couldn't help it. She laughed. Then God said, "And the baby will be named Isaac," which means, get this, laughter. Isn't that hilarious? A year later, Sarah had a baby boy and they named him Isaac. Everyone was amazed at this God who could make crazy promises and keep them, even promises that sounded crazy. God wanted to see if Abraham really trusted him, really trusted him. So when Isaac was older, God asked Abraham if he would give up his son. Did Abraham really trust God? This was the child they had waited for, the child God had promised, the child God would use to bless the whole world. What if Isaac died? Would God still keep his promise? Would God bring Isaac back to life? Abraham didn't know for sure, but he did know one thing. He trusted God. So Abraham got ready to give up Isaac because God asked him to. But God didn't want Isaac to die. He just wanted to know if Abraham trusted him. As soon as Abraham was ready to give up Isaac, God sent an angel who called out to Abraham from heaven, "Stop! Do not lay a hand on the boy." Then something amazing happened. God learned that Abraham would trust him no matter what. Abraham learned that God would keep his promises no matter what. Isaac learned that he could trust God just as much as his father did. He learned that he could trust God with his life. So God said, "Now I can use you to build my nation."